Yo, welcome to Leave It Better with Smash Africa and Friends. One of the questions that I'm getting a lot is like, yo, bro, what's your real name? And I simply say, my name is Afrika, and in the streets, they call me Smash.
Yeah.
And on this podcast, this platform, on this beautiful space, I hang out with people I call my buddies, and we chop it up. And today I've got the one and only TK, because he's my friend. But to you, Thokozani Madonsela. As to what he does, he does a lot of things. One thing, he knows how to bring people together. That's one thing I've known about you now. I've realized you are an effortless bring people together. And every time you bring people together, it has something to do with the talent that God has given you, what I believe is your purpose, what I believe is your passion, and essentially what you are put on this earth to do, leaving a long-lasting mark.
Yeah.
And then we'll see your paintings in the backdrop there.
Sure.
Just in the backdrop.
Yeah. a mini exhibition.
And then we'll have tight music.
Yeah, nice.
Like
nice.
it's always the music is always like
yeah.
taste. This guy's got taste. The food, if there's food, there's good food. If there's drinks, they are forever flowing, and just beautiful people. So TK, before we even talk about what you do professionally, is that your thing, dog? Like bringing people together and having a good time?
Yeah, I think so. I always tell people about how I grew up at Josie, where we grew up in this house. I won't give much details. I think that house was hijacked. I don't know. I think so. My mother said no, it wasn't, but I don't remember her paying rent. So it was like a commune thing where we lived with these Zulu guys, and it's just like a family kind of community, if I may call it that. There was a lady from Mozambique. There were ladies from I'd say all over.
Sure.
So I was exposed to all of that. And I think having grown up Manje, I think that had a lot of influence in me when I do any sort of event.
Sure.
So I think it is quite a thing. And also emakhaya la sibuya khona, dog, where I always treat every event that I do like njengomsebenzi.
Sure.
People must eat, drink, and dance.
Sure.
And connect, really. So I always think about that whenever I bring people together. But I'd say people make the events. So there's a lot of influences.
Yeah, man, like it's beautiful. So and like, dog, like every time you've invited me to your shingdings, I remember there was one that you did. It might have happened before COVID or just after. It was Jeppy's Town, not Jeppy's Town.
Yes.
Not Maboning, bruh. There are some factory sites, like on just closer to the highway.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Linda.
It was in Penrose. I remember the show. Yes.
What year was this?
This was in 2020.
It
was just after we got out of COVID. Like I would say when the restrictions were a bit easy.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And for me, I went to that thing, ne?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be like, dog, I've known you since 2017.
Yeah.
But when I went to that one specifically, I was like, dog, Demand knows how to throw a good thing.
Yeah, so that thing was, we went all out. Like actually, now you're reminding me of this thing. So it was actually a solo exhibition, right? So what happened was, how that whole show came about was, people were doing different things to sort of like stay busy during the COVID and the restrictions and stuff. Some people were writing their diaries and all of that. And what I was doing, I was producing prints.
Sure.
Just the small Anyana paintings. And so I look around, I'm like, hey man, I actually have 10 of these now. I'll just carve, do printmaking and just keep myself busy. And I was like, this is actually a diary. It's a story of what I've been going throughout COVID. So then I compiled everything and I approached a gallery that I will name. And I
You won't
said,
name.
I will not name them. I will not mention
Oh,
anything.
yaqala ngedrama.
No,
Yaqala
it's not.
ngedrama.
Nah. I'm not even trying to get
No,
to
I
the.
won't. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
that guy. I
yeah.
said leave it
No,
better.
yeah,
Like imagine in South Africa in terms of podcasting, right? And
yeah.
I just want to clear the air, right?
Mm,
There are people who play in their fields and their lanes and they're killing it.
mm.
And the moment you come, and I'm a believer of authenticity.
Sure.
The moment I come with something that is not me, I don't follow gossip.
Yeah.
I don't read tabloids.
Mm.
I generally don't gossip.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like I will never play in that lane. But if you do feel at any point,
Yeah.
if the spirit nudges you to say, you know, the reason why I choose not to name this gallery
Yeah.
is because of X, Y, and Z.
Mm.
And so it should not be named because of its impact it has in my life, in my emotional state, in my physical state, in my spiritual state.
Sure.
You got to call out what you need to call out.
Yeah.
Speak truth to that. So at any point in time it
I
comes.
got you. Yeah, I got you. No, but I'm saying this in real like good spirit. You know, that the reason why the show ended up not happening at the gallery actually, you know, the owner of the gallery then said, you know what, I think you should organize this. You know, I think that there's a lot that you wanna say, and I think you should just organize this show. You know, and they helped me a bit in terms of like coming up with the show, the one we did in Penrose. But then I was like, you know what, I actually wanna do something different outside of the gallery. I mean, when I approached the guys, this is Tabo and Mulife who run the arts company Soweto.
Sure.
And I said, guys, I want to do this show, and they said, but we don't have a venue. And I was like, but this is a venue. Let's do it from here in Penrose at their studio back then. And then we look around. This is like a factory industrial space.
Yeah.
And Amulief is like, but TK, we don't have walls. Where are we gonna hang this? So we had to hang the works from the roof and all of that. So the show just became interesting. I think everyone was part of it. You know, it just became so interesting, man. You know, and I was like, you know what? Let me just do this, like I mentioned earlier. Let me. I think it's some savings.
Sure.
You know, it's not speed braai. We had bar. We had this.
You
know,
vibe,
it had everything, and people. There was music. There was. It was just like a beautiful hangout instead of like an intimidating gallery show where, you know, most people feel like, we don't fit in. Yeah, you know,
yeah, like
is,
also feeling like it's pretentious and feeling like bourgeoisie-esque. And like yours brings people together. They could be like millionaires in that room, bro. Yeah. They could be guys who are going to be millionaires in the future. They could be guys who are going through life. But everyone is equal at your shows, at your exhibitions. So, man, big shout out.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm mentioning that, and it's my point of departure, is that as an artist, as a printmaker, as a creative, you're always in the forefront of commentary. So when you're bringing people together, you can say, Smash behavior so after 2 tequilas. Smash behaves like this after 5 black labels. You know what I mean? Utepo behaves like this. Ubegu uso. And then, you know, like you are meeting all of these young black creatives, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And you're just on the cover of Art Time South Africa. Oh, that's right. What's up? I was busy on the Dreamstream website. Go to dreamstream.co.za if you're looking for exclusive content, ad-free content, and even better, because I like you, just subscribe using my promo code. It's over here. And then you're inside for a month for free. Exclusive content, ad-free content. And even better, if you're looking to create video content, maybe be a podcaster, or you're a musician looking for a recording studio, they've got you. They plug you in. Allow me to get back to what I was doing. Yes, thank you. Between June, July. Right. What do you have to say about the company you keep and how far you go? See what I did there?
Yeah. Yo, I think, you know, I'm gonna well, I'll mention Upegi. It's one person that came to my mind right now. I grew up with Upegi in Troyville, you know, young dude. I think I was doing photography. I mean, at the time, back then, I used to be a skateboarder, believe it or not.
Yeah.
A really good one, actually. And I would say at the time Upegi was my photographer. He loved photography. He even went and studied photography for about 3 years or so. And before he started Curiosity. And I remember walking past the construction site in Maboneng. I think this was 2012 or 2013, somewhere there. And he's like, so he's standing in this industrial dustbin, and he says, "Yo, dog, I'm doing something here. I know I'm opening a backpackers and this." And I'm like, "What is a backpacker?" So he says, "I want you to come through and live here, for a while. I need my friends." And I remember that at the time I was still in Foster's, and I came back to Joburg, with a backpack, and I
Until
lived.
you're going to a backpacker.
I'm going to a
What do
backpacker.
you
Yes.
need
What
for
do
a
you need?
backpacker?
A backpack.
A bag. On your back.
On your back.
That's called a backpack.
Literally. So I get there.
Hey, I see these guys from the East End love coming to Joburg with a bag. Eh?
So I get there and dog, I didn't pay rent for
Of
3
course,
months.
he
For
invited
6
you.
months,
He
yeah.
just said, yeah.
So when you ask me, about the company that I keep, I think for me, Price, it's that story has always had like an impact in my life where I love seeing people grow together. Do you know what I mean? If I see that you're going somewhere and I can be a part of that ride, I want to be with you. I'm joining whatever it is that you're doing, and wherever you're going, I want to be there with you. And I think that's like that's a thing, man, with all of the people or most of the people that I hang out with. It's always about growth. It's always about acknowledging where we are at a society and being very open and intentional about where we want to go. And then another thing again, Khuzana again.
Sure.
Everything else that comes with that, the tequilas and whatever else, like that is just like to just ease the mood, I would say.
Masikhulume ukhuzana while you are here.
Yeah.
The other thing that a lot of times people in their youth don't have those people who will tell them the truth. If they're messing up, like, Ntwana, we are by Zamanje, you are getting out of line, come back, or we won't take your BS because of how much success you have. Because it doesn't matter whether you have 500,000 rands in your bank account or 50 rand in your bank account, you're still the same stand-up dude.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that importance. Iqale kuphi for you to appreciate that there's a hierarchy, and in order for one to go far in life, they need to be disciplined and follow basically the order of hierarchy.
Yeah, Smash. I think, so I'd say when my mother left Joburg, I realized, okay, manje, you need to stand on your 2 feet. I mean, my dad is still around here, but we don't connect as much as I would like to, with him, unless we are home in Mpumalanga. But I think, the streets, man, like, in Joburg, I think once you're fortunate enough to recognize your street family, or like, I'll call it that, once you find that brother on the street, that one person, this one, is real. In order to keep that kind of person, bro, like, you have to be as honest as possible with that person. Because you build a relationship, obviously, and once you've built that, I don't think you should be scared of now, this might just end. Because I feel like a lot of us live in that kind of thing, in that zone where we protect the relationship, whether it's friendship or whatever relationship you have with anyone, we protect it by leaving the truth out of it.
And yes, kawaja.
Yes, kawaja, bro. Where you're like, this friendship, but when you're now looking at it from outside, and you're like, love. Have you ever like invited friends and you like they pull through, and there's this third person here, you're like, this friendship, it's not make sure. But now they're convinced we're doing this thing, and so basically it's just like anything that's built on lies and dishonesty and all of those kind of things, bro. Like, and for me that always gives me confidence to say, you know what, I manja isahambi kahle,
Sure.
We're no longer doing the thing that you agreed on.
Sure.
What's happening here?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because the same way I treat you is the same way I expect you to sort of like treat me.
Sure.
You know, so if you can't pick up a phone and say, hey, TK, I think you're doing a bit too much now.
Sure.
You know, oh boy, I think you're doing well. Because it's not just the bad things, but it's the good things as well. Which I find when I lie Bambe corner, I
Sure.
think this is the one.
This is the one.
You know? So it's that kind of thing which it's let's build from within and then from inside out.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Not be influenced by ezinye and whatnot. So I've always tried with if ngiyabona ukuthi okay, umuntu is doing well, encourage them. If maybe I somewhere, also encourage them, you know, but be honest, you know. And I hope it's the same with other people towards me.
Sure.
Know? Yeah.
Another thing, like when you think about the South African art scene or the Joburg art scene, like you liken it to the New York art scene at the times of Basquiat. So like we're looking at like between 1970s and mid 1980s. And then now when I watch movies about that art scene, I'm like, yo, these dudes are living.
They're living.
And of course you know where I'm going with this question. Nelson, Makamo, living.
Yeah.
You know? Thokozani, Madonsela, living. Maboneng at the point, I think this is 20. We see it jump off, like really take off to between 2010. But because it's a tastemaker thing, it doesn't pop off until Boma 2011, 2012, 2013, it's a boom. And it becomes this.
Yeah.
Dog, it's 2024, bro.
Yeah. I mean, you know the thing with Maboneng, dog. I don't know if you're done.
So I'm going there. Like, is that life real? Like, give us a taste. Paint a picture. See what I did there? Paint a picture for someone watching right now of what it looks like to be an artist in Maboneng during its boom. And then we'll talk about the other stuff.
Yo, I think, you know, bruh. Okay, going back to the story of me and Upegi and how he invited me to Curiosity. So at the time, I'm working at a hotel, right? This is now a formal structure where a hotel, beautiful jazz music in the background, suits, you know, people pulling bags and all of that. But I'm living at a backpackers. It's still a hotel, but hybrid hotel. Now you're like, and every day, Peggy always laughs about this. And I'm like, what the hell is happening here? Because I have to wear a suit or put on a suit and then go to a hotel and work and speak proper English. And then come here and have a ngutu with guests even. I'm like, these two worlds are quite interesting. You know, and I remember this one time, but everyone was taking advantage of the opportunities that were there for artists. And I have to give it to whoever came up with the concept of Maboneng, that they really took care and put a spotlight on artists and creatives in general. You know what I mean? And I'm one of those people who were really fortunate enough to be there around that time, you know, where I lived at Curiosity and Peggy pushed me, you know, from, hey, bro, you know what, I just came across this poem. Can you know, this is a quote that I love from so-and-so. Can you please paint it on the wall? I was always painting. Like, I was just always doing something.
Like, yeah.
You know, and just...
And making the space feel like home. Like homies are here. Yeah. Like, don't forget that you are painting this picture for my audience.
Yes.
Go on with your bad self.
You know? So, bro, like, and I think everyone who came there with a very good spirit and was very honest in their craft really made it good in Maboneng at the time. So, do you know what I mean? Like, you'd meet a filmmaker out of nowhere. Now you're having a good with this person. I remember I met Blessing Gobeni, is also one of the great South African artists. I met him there, and he's showing me his interview that he's done with CNN. I'm like, yeah, CNN. What's happening here? You know, and he shows me, like, I know I'm with, I think at the time I was still with Galari Momo. You know, and then the next thing I meet, these are all like people who became my mentors. And then I meet Tonton Kabea. And Tonton is like, I'm now like, what is happening here? And then you walk in, the next thing you're having a party at this beautiful industrial space, and it's so well curated and this and this. And the next thing was Smash. Smash is now here. Bro, there was just a lot happening at the same time. You know, and I think you just couldn't help yourself. You had to be good at whatever it is that you're doing at the time. You had to stand out. And I think everyone around the time they're just like looking for ways to stand out, to be themselves. You know what I mean? And now me and you are doing this today because of those that era
So
of
basically,
my,
you were rock stars. You went to
yeah,
proper exclusive
yeah,
throwdowns
yeah.
and wake up in the morning, listen to jazz music in the background, not because you chose it, because your work requires you to do that.
Yeah.
And then later you are painting and curating curiosity,
Curiosity, yeah.
like to make it feel like home.
Home,
It's
yeah.
a homie's place.
Yes, yeah. And I think
How much
also
sleep are you getting?
I'm going there.
Like,
I'm going there.
this sounds to me like
What?
this guy is not sleeping.
What is that? And you remember that time, bro? Like Uber and your Bolt Nani, they were not really a thing.
Yeah.
So I think the question should be, how did you guys get around? So we had this. Oh, dog. A friend of mine, Ayanda, used to drive this microbus. It was like brown and white, this brown line, what, and he would park it right in front of Curiosity. That was our Uber. And Ayanda would be like, okay, I'm the designated driver. I'm not drinking anything today. Bro, that thing would go from Kitchener's to Melville to... I think they knew us everywhere, bro. The grooving that happened there. But the craziest thing is that we'd go around like that, maybe stop at a McD and eat and feast, and then go back. That time is like maybe my 3 a.m. But those guys would be up in the morning
And show up for work.
and show up for work. Bro, I'm talking taking guests around the city, telling them about the city, about South Africa, the history of South Africa, whatever. They would be up on time. They were never late for anything. Bro, like, and I'm just like, how do you guys do it? You know, even with me, like, because like when I was still working, formally at the time, you know, I would be at work and be like, what? Yo, it's tough, but I'm Kalia Pambi, you know what I mean? It was just interesting to be around, you know, to basically launch my career at the time when everyone was just pushing their own hustle, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Gotta shout out the friends. We spent like 20 minutes looking back where you grew up, the friends, the company you keep and how far you go, you know, what it means to be an artist, why you throw down the exhibitions, the way you throw them down.
Yeah.
Now we gotta talk about, now you've got a paycheck from your art. Your first, do you remember who gave you money for your first piece of artwork?
Yo.
And do you remember what you did with that shit?
Hey, you know the problem with me.
I don't care how much it is. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about like, but if, because you know, I said, do you remember? It could not be like, it might even be the number 5.
Yeah.
But you don't remember what you did with the very first one because it was so insignificant,
Mm.
or maybe it was that significant.
Yeah.
So, but one of the early days, where you're like, I used to get a paycheck month end. Now I'm getting paid from my artwork.
Artwork or hard work.
Hard work. Yes.
You know, I think
Dreamstream, a place to create yourself. Record video, music, and podcasts in our full-service studio. Record video, music, and podcasts in our full-service studio. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
you know, I have to shout out the Artist Proof Studio. You know, for me, that community has always been impactful. Like in my
Artist
life, you know,
Proof.
Artist Proof Studio.
Sure.
Yes, you know. But I think the one impactful one or paycheck that I always refer back to is this one time I was in town. I think I used to live at End Street somewhere, and I'm struggling, you know. And this was like the transition between the old work that I used to do, the more realistic kind of stuff, and the most secured kind of stuff that I used to paint, you know. And when I decided that, you know what, now I think I'm looking for a signature. I'm looking for paintings that sort of mean something to me. you know, because I see everyone is influenced by your Nelsons, and you know, I mean, rightfully so. You know, the story in Joburg then was very. There was a lot of there was a lot of content in around Joe's, and then I decided, you know what, I just wanna go back to my graffiti days and paint these weird figures that I'm painting right now. I needed my own signature, like I
So
said,
now,
you know.
this I like this. This is where it starts. You are transitioning. You are
I'm
moving
moving
from what you are comfortable with
yeah,
to moving to something you are authentic
yeah,
about, but also
yeah.
speaks to your signature now.
Yes. You know, so where you walk into a room or a gallery and you're like, okay, that's a Thokozani right there. Do you know what I mean? So I had to search for that, you know, and then it was a very tough 2 years of my life. You know, it was very, very tough to say, you know what, I'm going to do something new, completely different from what I used to do. And I pushed that, and thanks to Blessing Gobeni, who used to say, yeah, but what are these figures saying, boy? You know, because before I introduced like the smile and the laugh, it was just like a plain figure.
Yeah.
And Blessing was like, no, man, they must say something, you know, and he was pushing me. So this one time, now there's rent involved during the transition, because you're not living on the street. So you have to pay.
So
rent.
you're out of the backpacker.
I'm out of the
Now you are
backpackers.
renting.
Now we are renting now. So no must stand. You know what I mean? Anyway, this one time I am so broke, smash. I have no money for rent. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna ride my bicycle and go to Blessing Studio. The plan is to get there and say, Blessing, I need 3,500 for rent. So while I'm riding, I'm planning this whole thing. You know how uncomfortable it is to ask for money or for help, even, you know, for some. I get there, Blessing is busy, he's painting, he's showing me this painting. I'm like, hey, this guy, I need rent. So he's busy showing me these paintings that he was doing. He's on a call. He's like, do you have material? Do you have stuff to work? He hands me, I remember I'm riding a bicycle. He hands me these papers and he gives me this red paint. He gives me charcoal. He gives me a dog. By the time I left the studio, I'm mad. Now I'm more angry with this camera. But I didn't even tell him.
You didn't even ask for that.
I didn't
man.
ask
You didn't ask for that
man.
3.5.
I did not. Nothing. So he gives me this red paint. He gives me this charcoal. He gives me paper. I go back to the studio. I created this angry painting. The painting was red, black, red and black. Everything he gave me, using the paper that he gave me. You know, I'm like, now, and I get a call from, I think it was Thabo Motseki. Thabo says, I'm going to a gallery in Hyde Park. It's called Sherry de Villiers Art Contemporary. And he says, I'm going there. This lady's looking for work, for new work. So please bring something. I don't know how that red paint, that angry painting, made it to that stack that I took to Hyde Park. Bro, I get there and I'm like, you know, I just laid it down and I didn't care. This lady looked and it goes straight to that painting, the red one, and says, I really like this one. I'm like, you know, and then it takes a few paintings from Thabo, and I think there was another guy, I can't remember his name, who was there. He takes paintings from them. I roll my stack, I go back home. I'm like, I got fine of it, you know.
But she took the red one.
She called me the following day. She's like, there's something about that red painting. Please bring it.
So she didn't take it.
She didn't take it on the day.
Oh, man.
She called me. I walked, bro, from Josie to Hyde Park, and I'm like carrying this red paint. Get there. She framed it, and it sold in a day. And she says, we tried to put it up, and there's literally like 5 people who came to the thing, and the one went back home to take measurements. And as they went back home, another client came in and said, I'm taking it now. And that money, I think, was around 5 grand. She asked for a discount. And I said, I need 5,000 for it. And she was like, no, I'm going to give you about 3,500 or something, 3.8. And then she then sent me the difference. She said, you know what, I felt bad because it was such a good painting that I had to pay you the rest of the
because you wanted
because
so you're like, I'll pay rent and I have got food, I've got electricity,
and then good.
And maybe and good. How can we forget?
How can we forget?
Like, why is it not chilling here? Like, you guys need to be on. You need to be on brand.
Oh, man.
Like,
you But yeah, I think that payment for me was like it was a blessing, in blessings.
Shout
Honor,
out to
like,
Blessing,
shout
man.
out to blessing.
What a
Like,
blessing.
what a blessing.
If you are someone who's an animator, you love this story, you can illustrate it, do it. Like, because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Now imagine he's got all the money for rent and more.
And more.
Damn.
Nah,
All right,
man.
cool. Now, present day. We got to talk about present day.
Mhm.
One of the hardest things about being an independent creative, meaning you don't depend on a salary.
Hey, smash.
What are those things, and how do you navigate the obstacles?
Yo, I think I always say, like, whenever I have like I'm gonna sound like an OG now.
You are
But,
born in 1988, my G.
Yes.
Own it.
Is it? Oh.
Oh, you were born in
Sometimes
1999.
I'm a 16-year-old.
Oh, but another 2000.
No. Trust me, guys. It's nice.
Wait, I was giving him like the Mustafa
sure.
1999.
Yes, it's nice to be a man.
Sure.
To kuba mdala, dog.
Sure.
My mother used to say that all the time, but now I understand.
Yeah.
It is so nice to be approaching 40, bruh.
That's what I'm saying. Embrace it.
It is so
now
dope,
embrace it,
bruh.
bruh. Even though sometimes I feel like I can't sit in a lotus position as long as I used to be able to, like going down, tying my shoes. I need to go back to yoga. So those are the things that I miss about being young. But beyond that, I'm grateful, bro. And also, and having like a babalas for 2 hours. I miss that. Because now, babalas takes 2 days.
True. I mean, sometimes a week, depending. So now we do podcasts on Tuesdays because, hey, Monday is hectic. So, but going back to how do I navigate, like the income and what, first it just takes a lot of maturity, and I think my background, having worked in the corporate space for a long time, there's certain things that you have to take serious. I have to have paint at the studio, so you have to have certain things that really drive you. Like if you are, for example, a musician. Can I afford studio time? Can I afford this kind of thing? Can I take myself to shows and all of those things? So it's really just about what drives you. What are the things that you are honestly mad about? Like in terms of, I love going to shows. I love going to music shows. I love going out and all of those kind of things. But I need to fund that lifestyle. So meaning I need to also paint. I need to show up for shows. I need to put my work out there. So it's really just about what is important to me, and again, I think having been in the professional space for a while, it has sort of like helped me, get my way around money, understanding that if I'm selling a painting now, this has to push me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I have to save this. It gets really tough at times. The money's not always coming in there, or sometimes you just want to work on a project. You don't want to push anything. You're not really concerned about selling anything because you want to focus on this one project for like 3 months, 6 months. How do you fund that? So it's a very tricky one because no one trains us and no one prepares us for it. But you sort of like, everyone has their way of doing it. But I think mine is really just like my background, I'm in the corporate space and all of these kind of things. And also I think the kind of friends, again, that I have who don't paint.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I think there's something that you learn when you hang out with people who are outside of your own craft, whatever it is that you do. Because looking at those kind of people, they sort of help me get my way around managing money and income.
Do you find joy from a painting selling for whatever price that is set? I bet you find joy when you complete a painting.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's 50-50.
50-50.
I mean the angry painting that paid your rent, you did not feel anything for it. It
Yeah,
was
I
neither
think-
here or there. It was just you expressing rage.
Yeah, but I think Smash. It's I enjoy the process more. I think every creative maybe would probably tell you this.
That's where I'm going now with this question.
Yeah.
So let's say money gives you the joy.
Yeah.
We are. This is just an assumption. And
Yeah, yeah.
also, because I want to speak about happiness, and that's why
Sure, sure.
joy. So let's say money. Great. It's sold for X amount. Amazing. But journeying through to finishing it, can you account for the joy you receive during the process? Like, are you forever constantly grateful for it? Because that does not come with the money. It just comes with the lessons, the process, whether it took you two days or 2 weeks or 2 months to complete. Yeah. How do you navigate that, like, as a creative? Because you need to be paid for your work.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But you also know, like, the labor pains. I'm gonna call it labor pains, lack of a better phrase. The pain that comes with during the process of creation.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this one time at APS, one of the facilitators, there was like, guys, you need to understand we're in a business of solving problems.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, and at the time I didn't understand it.
Sure.
But I've learned, when you're painting and you're listening to music, you get to this point where you're like, no, this is not red enough, or this is not yellow enough for me. And you start mixing and you paint over the red, or you're like, no, I don't think charcoal is going to work for this. Maybe I should use a pastel. Oh no, I thought this color was gonna, but there's this back and forth, hence like you see an artist going towards the painting and backing up a bit, and so that kind of back and forth and painting and layering and all of that, and also the conversations that happen within. I don't know, man. I think the emotions and the feelings, by the time you finish the painting, you have dealt with so much, that sort of, sometimes it's just questions, and you like, hopefully I'm gonna get answers on the next painting, and then the next questions you get answers, and then you're like, okay, now I have answers, but how do I now solve this? Maybe I'm gonna solve it with the next question, painting. So you constantly, now you end up with this body of work, but the process is like so interesting that if you can't help but deal with whatever it is that sometimes you can't even stand it. It reveals certain things about your process, about yourself, even as a person. And I guess that's what makes a painting. That's what draws the attention from different people, or audiences. But trust me, I think it's just different waves that you go through. When you're creating, when you're making this painting. And also the mediums that you use. You're like, okay, maybe painting is not gonna work for this. Maybe I should draw. I feel like using charcoal for this one. There's so much to say, and I just wanna use charcoal. Or what? Maybe I think a sculpture would work best for this particular one. So it's just different kind of like emotions that you go through to the creative process. So I hope it makes sense. But
no,
yeah.
but also that's the whole point of this question is I'm getting to interrogate your process and the feelings it evokes from you. So you just told me your experience.
Yeah.
And now you get success, meaning you sell this painting. What kind of joy does that bring when you've got a sale?
Yeah, right. I think it's sort of like, I don't know if we were speaking about this earlier, about how I comment on like different things that I go through in life, or things that I witness, around the continent, around Joburg and all of those things. And I think whenever a painting gets sold or it goes to a certain home, it opens up a conversation, whatever the conversation may be, whether it's happiness, whether it's things that we're dealing with, whatever it is that we're dealing with. But I feel like every time someone buys a painting from me, they become a part of this conversation that I'm trying to start.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lady who sent me a message, because I haven't spoken to her in a while, and I was like, she was a good client of mine, and then she sends me a text out of nowhere. She's like, oh my God, I love this painting. We moved to Morocco about 2 years ago. I didn't know. And she's like, we took this painting with us. It just gives me so much joy. But it was such a beautiful feedback from a client. So, getting those kind of messages from clients, bro, like it's priceless, So it sort of brings a sort of joy, bro, that I cannot even describe. But I think the main thing is if you are open to my conversation and my story, that is what I appreciate the most. But like, for me, it's like you trust me enough to wake up to my painting or to my work or to my story, my conversation every single day.
Sure.
So yeah,
So profound. Man.
yeah,
And that's what art is.
that's what art is. That's what creativity
Now,
is.
Art Times, they say, puts you on the cover. Now we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Dog, the world of magazines, newspapers. You work a tangible thing, not online, not this laptop nonsense that I'm on here. Is dying, right? And you need to be subscribed in order for you to get yourself a copy
Yeah.
of June, July. And as we are bidding farewell to July now, do you think you gave them the work that you want to be remembered for as a South African, as a young African, as a storyteller, as a capturer of joy, grief,
Yeah.
and all emotions?
Yeah, Smash. I think this particular
Sorry,
piece.
I went deep.
Smash. I think, bro, like with this particular, so that just to bring people in a bit on the piece, it's titled Uskani Sheba Wanyatsa. And when I was doing the piece, I was playing the song in the background. It's a gospel song called Uskani Sheba Wanyatsa, Nakoyaka Yatla, something like that. But it's a very interesting song. But also internally, I was it was a boxing match happening. That's how I would describe it. There was a lot of things happening. Self-doubt, am I still relevant in this thing that I'm doing? Is my story still solid? And all of this. So basically the piece is a diptych, like it's two pieces, sort of like having a conversation with each other.
Sure.
And this is me. This is what was happening internally. It's a beautiful, colorful piece, but and I chose to paint it that way because I didn't want to portray exactly what was happening. But
Sure.
the technique that I used was lino cut. It's very labor intensive,
Sure.
so you have to carve this thing and print. It's just a lot, and I think them sort of picking up that particular piece to be on the cover, bro, like I was like, wow,
So profound.
this is like so profound, bro. Like this connection is deeper than I thought. These things that we say jokingly, and then when they actually happen, you're like, yeah, what is this now? I remember writing this down somewhere, and now it's happening. It's sort of like you get reminded that time moves so fast, and also the things that we do. Hence, we have to be intentional about stuff. The things that we do, the things that we say. Again, going back to the people we hang out, the company that we keep. It's very important, right? And I think this cover sort of proved that. That you do something with this intention, and you like, I remember looking at the blue one, and I was like, I want this to be on the cover of like a record or of some music thing. And I spoke to an artist friend. I said, dog, if you have a song that you can use maybe for your EP or something, can you
Sure.
just use this artwork, And then Unati from Artist Proof calls me. He's like, yeah, guess what? We're on the cover. And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, we're on the cover. It's not just a feature, but you're on the cover of the art.
That's even better, bro.
That's even better.
That's even better than
Bro.
an album, like an album cover.
Oh, like for me, it's to be recognized like that. It's just something else. But again, I I remember a friend of mine said, hey, we should do something about this, bro. Don't let this die out. And I said, but I need the hard copy. I want something that my mother can hold, like my mother can look at.
Sure. And that's why you wanted the album cover, because you can.
Because I wanted something.
Tangible.
Tangible. And then Unati then brought me the magazines. I think I had like 10 copies, and I don't think I have any right now.
Of course,
because
you
people
have.
just
you wouldn't have.
and then that's why we then got together to sort of like celebrate that moment. The beautiful friends that you guys are came out. Shout out, and we had fun.
No, man, definitely a night to remember, and that's why I brought you here. It just comes at the right time. And I want us to have another conversation soon, but this one was specifically just looking back at the journey, looking at the power of friendship and family.
Yeah.
You know, the importance of understanding bond
True.
and how your word is bond. You spoke about honesty a lot.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I appreciate you for directing the conversation there. And usually for you watching at home or wherever you're watching this from, we generally have a brief conversation before we start recording. And I had so many questions about the things that I asked him before we started recording. But as TK would be, he was like, nah, dog, I already spoke about that. So I'm going to speak about other things on record. So I look forward to hosting you again because I think you've got a lot to say. And then we'll just talk about the state of youth. Because
Hey, no,
you understand the
I
level.
do. Trust
You understand the
Takes a
level.
lot to catch.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And that's what we should do, man. We should just speak our truth and our experiences. All the best with everything that you do. Keep on being a beacon of hope and a light. Shine on, brother.
Thank you.
Don't
so
you ever
much,
stop.
bro. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it.
To you, thank you so much for shining our light and subscribing, commenting, and liking. We really appreciate it here on Leave It Better. If you don't know by now, this broadcast is brought to you by the good people from dreamstream.co.za. So make sure you go and check them out at dreamstream.co.za for exclusive content, ad-free content, and most importantly, awesome opportunities if you're looking to enter the podcast space, maybe you're a recording artist, or you'd like to create video content. Shout out to the team. We appreciate the hard work. We see you, baby. Till the next time, leave it better than you found it. Danko. You can tell I worked on TV, right?
When someone loves their work, when someone is in love with their craft, guys.
Also, I do that for the people at home. Like, you got to believe in yourself, man. Oh, man. Thank you so much.
We gonna